morning before we start chopping. We're over at the Cleverly farm. One of the new seeding pieces had a couple of trees that went down, so we're going to go ahead and push them back. This is our older telehandler. This telehandler had a turbo go on it back in June of last year, and it created a small engine fire, got into the air box and whatever. I put a turbo on it. It drove into the shop, it drove out of the shop. However, the following day it didn't want to run. So we didn't know if we had other issues with the small fire that was in the engine compartment. It was very, very minor. So we had the local JCB dealer come out to look at it. They had to look at the other one as well. That was on warranty. The other telehandler was on warranty. I said, as long as you're out here looking at the AC on that one, we need to know why this machine here doesn't want to run. So they claimed that it had a bad ECM. Gonna need a new ECM. Oh, okay. We'll have to get one ordered. Environment that we're in. Don't know how long that's gonna be. Well, a month goes by. Next thing you know, 2 months go by. We get into chopping corn. Kind of lost track of time. Got done chopping corn. We're like, hey, what is going on? Did you guys get an ECM in yet? Are they still making it? Have they not shipped it across the pond yet? What's the story? Well, they claimed they didn't know what was going on with it. I said, well, your mechanic dropped the ball then. Here's the situation. And they said, well, it would be easier if you could bring it in. So we ended up bringing it in. It was sometime in November. And time escapes me here a little bit. A bunch of time went by. It's like, where are you with this thing? What's going on? Well, it's got more wrong with it than the ECM. We really didn't have an ECM problem. We think it needs a wire harness. So they ended up putting a wire harness on it. And Tim went out to pick it up. They drove it on the trailer. Tim chained it down. They don't allow you to load your own equipment. They have to load it. Got it back to the farm, and it didn't want to. I think it only had like first and third or second and fourth. So we took it back out there, and we just got it back Tuesday of this week. And Tim brought the machine back to this farm because we had some trees to push back with it. He detached from the lowboy and hooked onto the Moss trailer. So I don't know what the whole reasoning behind taking this long to fix it was, but at any rate, it took that amount of time. So we've got one tree down over in here. So we'll go ahead and get this pushed back, and then we'll get over to the farm where the chopper is here. guess we've got about as good of a job as we're gonna do there. That dead stuff is gonna continue falling. However, the stuff is so tall that it's a little risky pushing on it because of how tall it is. It pushes over easy. Let's see if we can't get a couple more of these out of here. Unfortunate, that stuff is all gonna continue to fall in here. But this stuff is dead. To where the chopper is, we've got some brush to push back there and get after it here. Well, I just climbed out of the chopper here. I'm actually setting the shear bar. I've got a gap in truck, so I figured it'd be a good opportunity to do that. I thought it'd also be a good opportunity to tell you about our first breakdown with the chopper. I was chopping over on the other side of that hedgerow over there. Chopping along, I just turned around on the end of the field, got headed down my next row, and I started pushing hay with the head. So I stopped. I said, well, the pickup head's not, the pickup head teeth aren't picking anything up, but the auger was turning. There's a hydraulic drive motor that drives, it's down in on this side here, that drives the pickup head teeth, and then the power shaft coming over off of the chopper runs the auger. So the teeth stopped moving. I said, no big deal, it's just gonna be a broken chain. Well, the chain wasn't broken, didn't look like the shaft had spun or anything, so I figured we had a problem with the hydraulic drive motor. I didn't know if there was some issues with that, so we couldn't quite get it sorted. Once in a while it would run, and then we started it was started turning again, and I figured, well, it's hydraulic related. Thought it was in the connection up on that multi-coupler there. Undid that, plugged it back in. I figured, well, that's good. We're good to go. Well, we got looking at it a little more, and this metal rod, I think it's a stake, just appeared on this one side. One of the truck drivers seen it stick out a little bit. So we were able to pull this out of there, and I said, well, that's what it was. That's stopping it, and it's limiting it, and the hydraulics won't overcome it. So we pulled that out and went chopping along, went about another 100 feet, and it started to have some more problems. I said, well, we've got something wrong here. So we got to looking at it, and what we had is we had a tooth bar broke on this one side, and what it was doing is it was flopping in there, and every once in a while getting caught to where it wouldn't let the head roll around. So what we did was we took all of the stripper plates off of this one side, and well, what had happened was this got wound in there, and it ended up breaking the very end. It's just a stamped piece of steel, almost like an angle iron channel like type piece. We took all the stripper plates off. It was broke on that side. I had a couple of options. I could have drove all the way home. Our service truck is out of commission. The transmission's gone and it wasn't here. I could have drove this home, welded it. I could have took it apart and welded it, but what we decided to do is I had a zip wheel in my pickup truck, and we just cut the tooth bar got it out of there, so we're running with 3 rows of teeth on this side and 4 on that side. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. I ordered the parts for it, or actually Jake ordered the parts for me, and we're not gonna see those till Tuesday, and today is Friday. So I told him we're probably gonna run the rest of this all the way through first cutting and worry about replacing that once we get first cutting done. I did rebuild this head, not this past winter, but the winter before, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get that tooth bar in without pulling the whole side of this head off. So we might as well jump back up in the chopper here, and hopefully there'll be a truck here in a minute. I didn't film any of this project because I had 9 truck drivers standing over my shoulder. A couple of them were helping me, and I just did not want to waste the time getting the camera out. It took me an hour. Get all them stripper plates off, well, dissect the problem, get all the stripper plates off, cut the bar out, put them all back on, and here we are. So yeah, fun stuff. Well, we are on the Hudson farm now. This particular field, we actually rolled this spring. Last year it was new seed, and there was quite a few stones in here the size of a softball, and it was just a mess in here. It was all the time garbling up stones with the chopper here, and just had to be on your toes. You couldn't be going that fast. You had to be listening for them and spitting them out and everything else. Well, Alex and Andrew rolled this, and so far so good. I haven't picked up any stones. I haven't heard anything go through the chopper. And this is the steepest part of this farm. Kind of overlooks the rest of it here. We've got corn planted to our right. That field is pretty steep as well. And then of course, we're getting ready to go down over a hill here. We have to kind of load these trucks a little different. There's not really too much of a side hill here. It's just steep on either end. I've got Timothy about loaded. I might take him back the other way because I don't really have enough on him. And we'll go right back up that windrow there and then come down this one here. So we're gonna stop him right here. Don't go any further. So we're going to pick up, go over here. He doesn't really know how much he has on yet. But we take him over here, and we can get a little more onto him. It's a pretty good sized windrow. Get him to the end of this one, turn him around, bring him back down through the windrow to our left, and then we'll take him straight down. Over the hill, I've got 2 empty trucks here to pick up the rest. I forget what I have up there to our right, but I think we're going to actually have him loaded before we get him turned around, possibly. So we got one more field to do up on top of the hill that is ready to be chopped. They are still merging right now. The moisture is doing decent. This is 58, actually 60% right there. Top left, bottom left, the middle is the protein level. And yeah, this is pretty good feed here. With the ground as dry as it is, this hay can about being cut, merged, and chopped. This was actually cut last night, and we don't want to leave it laying here any longer. So we're going to turn right back around the other way here. Let him scoot around behind us tightly. We'll pay attention to things here. We need to let him keep moving. We got to be careful so that we don't have to have him stop. He might not have been able to regain traction in that corner. So we got just a little bit left to put on the back end here. I don't know if you can recognize this field or not, but we had hay over in the field to our right that we've chopped before. Chopped hay before, and again, it gets tricky. You've got to load the empty trucks on the steepest part and make sure you have a way for the loaded ones to safely make it to the road. So we'll take him right down over this part here. This isn't really as steep as the other side, but it's not really any, and it tips a little bit over to our right, but not so much on this windrow that we're going to take him to here. So you might be asking, what is that little brick building in the middle of the field? Well, that is where the water line goes across this farm, and they have valves and whatever in there so that they can control the flow of the water as it goes into the city here. I don't know if this water line comes from Atisco Lake or if it comes from Skinny Atlas. But there's another water line over on one of our other farms. We're on the other side of the village of Camillus. The village of Camillus is right down in that valley there. So I've got a good supply of empty trucks here to finish this up without having to do too many tricky things here. So we'll have him full right at the bottom of the hill here and get the stuff back in the trailer. No, he's not sliding yet anyways. Hopefully he doesn't have to abandon things, because there's a little bit of a rough spot there on the other side of that driveway. That is an access road for the all the little building there. So we'll give him the go ahead. He's laughing. He likes a good challenge. So we've got Sarah. She has just pulled in. She's caught up now. She's got a little bit left to, a little bit of ground fit up. A little bit of ground left to fit up here yet that we're going to put corn on. But Jared is manuring it. So Tim could probably hold a little more, but there isn't any sense of taking him up over this hill. It's taken me a little longer to put loads on because we've been screwing around with this hill. So we're loading Alex right now, and yeah, so Sarah's been fitting up the final tail end of the ground that we've been putting corn on. My father's been planting the rest of that, and she's also been having to pick stones here too as she's moved along with the chisel plowing and the disking. So she wanted to make sure she finished that job. She says, I started it, I'm gonna finish it. So she stuck right to it. She's got a little bit left to do, like I said. So we've got 2 windrows over there that'll work out perfect. We can get down over the hill, back up over the hill, and then we can exit this field on the other end, go up over the top of the hill, and finish our last piece off for the night. So we'll keep plugging away here. the plastic cover on the power shaft going up to the head here, that the clips have kind of come unclipped from it, kind of common. And I figured that at some point we're gonna have to buy a new one. Well, the thing's been flopping around on there a little bit. I would clip it back together. Sometimes it would stay for the whole day. Most of the time it wouldn't. Well, that thing got flopping around today and it unhooked the power shaft. The head stopped. I thought I had other head problems. So I stopped right away. And the power shaft, I'll show it to you when we get done tonight. Show you what it did. But at any rate, I figured, well, now's the time. I pulled the shroud off of it. We're running bare naked right now. Don't really have too much to worry about. We're not in weeds or anything. It's not like we're in corn stubble or anything where corn stalks are going to get caught around it or anything. But I called Kaz Equipment to order a new shroud. And I said, you know, I want a price on the whole shaft and the shroud. Price it that way, and then price it with, you know, just the shroud. The whole shaft with the shroud was $1,741, which power shafts are expensive. That's not as expensive as I thought it would be, but it is expensive, no doubt. I said, all right, how much is the cover, the shroud, the guard? He had to put a couple pieces together. That was $1,300. Well, what do you think we ended up buying? So, yeah, sometimes you're better off buying the whole complete unit because, well, once we show you what that shaft did, it's a wonder that it's not bent. So, yeah, I've often wondered what would happen to that if it ever came undone. Well, now we know. So we'll keep plugging away. We'll show you what that did when we get done here tonight. And we'll just keep after it here. Well, we have this thing just about all ready to go for tomorrow. We just got to sharpen the knives on it tomorrow. I'm not going to sharpen the knives tonight. But at any rate, this plastic cover that goes on this power shaft came off, or it was all not, it clips on here and it clips on there, and it allows you to get in to grease them U-joints. It was not locking in place. It's commonplace for them to do that, so it was just kind of vibrating on there. I should have took it off, but what it did was it ended up unlocking this button here, and this shaft came off. And I don't know if I can demonstrate that now because the head might be down too far, but this shaft came off. I can't get it off in there, but the shaft came off and it ended up underneath the chopper, wedged around sideways. And I was really scared that it was going to be bent, but it was not. So we lucked out there. Like I said earlier, I ordered a new one with the plastic shield. $1,700 opposed to $1,300 for just the shield. So another thing that we had happen today was we had this thing get caught in there. I showed you that earlier. Here is the other metal goodies that we have picked up along our travels here so far. Piece of pipe. But at any rate, this is the tooth bar here that broke. And it broke over on this left hand side. I probably could have welded it if I had a welder in the field, but that wasn't going to happen. So we've ordered a new one of these, and all we did as we just reached in and we took a zip wheel on a grinder and we cut it and pulled it out. So when we get done doing hay, get done with first cutting, we're gonna have to go and put a new tooth bar into this head. So with that being said, that is going to do it for this video. I want to thank all you guys for watching, and we'll catch you at the next one. So we're gonna go ahead and get home, get something to eat. I've got to yank this trailer home. It came over here full. It only had a few hundred gallons taken out of it today, and then we'll have to stage it where we're going to be tomorrow. Take it easy, folks. We'll catch you at the next one.